Starting now. All right. Hi, peoples. If anyone's there, we're going on with our Pathworking on the Star Tarot card and the 28th path on the Tree of Life. And where's my little mini Tree of Life image thing here to show you reversed, because it's the way it comes out here. So between the green and the purple sphere here, actually that should be on the other side, but Venus to the moon, that little one there, star. Between its color is violet. It seems to be the same color here as the sphere Yesod, which is the astral sphere, the emotional sphere, the sacral chakra. Say that fast.
And try and keep your teeth in.
So, got some notes to go over about it. We were just kind of going over a bunch of notes and
readings and stuff. It's a tough one. There's not a lot. It's a lot about consciousness and the Garden of Eden and stuff.
Yeah.
You're the old man.
Well, we were reading some of the material from a couple different books, and even Wang seems to go into like this minuet detailed discussion of the little bits of symbolism, which I think is kind of missing the point. I mean, yes, you can discuss, well, in this Golden Dawn card, there's two trees, and this tree is the tree of life, and this tree is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and it's here because of this and because of that, and you know, various all kinds of detailed discussion about the various symbolisms, which change from card to card. So, but I think that's not really what it's about. I think some of it is mentioned about what it's about is, well, let's kind of go over the basics first here, shall we?
Okay.
The path of Zadai, and I'll show you the picture of that here, but again, it's reversed. So, but it looks like kind of a Y with a tail. Mm-hmm. And
if you have some tarot decks, if you have a tarot deck and you're looking at your cards, it may actually be shown on your card. Somewhere.
Unless you have the Crowley deck, in which case it shows the hay, which is associated with the Emperor.
Right.
So then you have to look at the Emperor to see what Zadai looks like. The star, the 17th key, or the 17th tarot trump. Color, violet. Sound, A sharp.
Let me look that up.
All right.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Sign, Aquarius, associated with the sign Aquarius in astrology. Meaning, fish hook. A simple letter for imagination. Its title, The Daughter of the Firmament. Another title, The Dweller Between the Waters.
Okay.
A sharp. That's not A sharp. Come on, you can't hear that on that thing.
So A sharp. A sharp.
Get your attention.
Yep.
A sharp.
Okay.
The Sefer Yetzirah says the 28th path is called the natural intelligence, and it is so called because through it is consummated and perfected the nature of every existing thing beneath the sun.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a big statement.
That's a big statement. So everything beneath the sun is everything on the planet, certainly. But by, excuse me, it also referring to the sun as the Tifreth, and so the center yellow Sephiroth sphere on the tree of life, the balance point, the heart chakra. So it's talking. It's also, it would be talking about both that sun and the sun in the sky at the same time. So consummated and perfected the nature of every existing thing beneath the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think I want to just
show some of the colors.
Not yet. Now, one thing that is important here, and I think I'll just try to summarize, and please jump in, because I don't know how much I'm going to get here, is that it's associated with the idea, the meaning of the word, of the letter as a word, is fishhook. And so, of course, fishhook is, that little tool that, people gain sustenance with. But I think what's important in that kind of imagery is that when you're fishing with a fishhook, you're fishing beneath the waters.
Yes.
So it's representative of kind of going from one level somehow, from one kind of level or vibration or kind of one density perhaps to another.
Yep.
And but so that, okay, so with that, it's about dipping into the waters here can on one level mean like collective consciousness. Collective or the collective subconscious or the collective unconscious. A number of terms are on the same thing. That sort of waters, that quote sea of imagery, of consciousness that that we all share. So in a sense, a fishhook here is kind of fishing into the subconscious, fishing into the more unity consciousness for what? The other author you're mentioning identifies the female form in all the star cards as the muse, as a muse.
Yes.
The muse. So this female personification, anthropomorphized idea of inspiration for the artist, or inspiration for anyone. That so.
And inspiration or imagination is the simple letter for this.
And it also is associated with imagination too. So we get that link. And so not only is it us, people, finding inspiration and utilizing our imagination, and dipping into the collective consciousness from our ego consciousness to participate in some way, maybe to draw up inspiration to participate in that collective consciousness, or with it, to find an imaginative, creative idea through the muse. So it's very much about that process of inspiration, I think.
I think it's interesting that she said here that little bit, I like that, the star that reaching for the stars is reaching for inspiration, or if you have an inspiration or an idea or a goal that you're reaching for the stars, or you know, you hook a star, you hook an idea, right? So it's that fishing
hook onto that star.
Hook onto that star, yeah.
And that star is like your goal or your inspiration.
Yeah.
Certainly, I think in general, and it talks about, is it the star or is it the stars?
Right. Yeah.
And certainly in general, I mean, it can. I think it's pretty easy for humans in general to admit that, you know, the starry night sky that we are all presented with when it's on a clear night is a wonder.
Yes.
Spurs the imagination of humans in time immemorial. It's about, oh my gosh, look at all this wonder in the sky.
Yeah.
And it's from just that wondering about what's out of our reach, that there's great mysteries out of our reach. Somehow there's this illumination from above. That's where the whole idea of kind of heaven comes from, that there's something up there that's wondrous and beautiful. And so, I mean, even on that very basic kind of level of that the star, for sure, stars represent this inspiration, and which spurs, which ignites, which encourages the imagination.
See, what did Wang here say? The angling of the higher self to pull the personality up from its depths of self-enclosure. That's
the other big bit here.
So
where this goes is it's not just humans, you or I or you or anyone kind of looking for an inspiration with that fish hook. There's a whole nother way of looking at this, is that the fish hook is what the higher self, however you want to put that, guardian angel, the higher self, ascended masters, higher intelligences in some way, or even ancestors, however, whatever your kind of belief structure around that goes. But it's from the position and from the belief that there are higher intelligences on some level somewhere that are involved in our human lives, or noticing our human lives. And that so from that, which I think pretty well every religion in the world would agree with to some extent, that there's higher beings. Is there higher beings? There's higher beings. So if you go with the idea that there are higher beings, or that even you yourself are attached to part of an expression of these higher beings, that they are the ones with the fish hook trying to hook us up.
That's that divine inspiration.
The divine inspiration.
Where that comes from is the divine going, yeah, we gotcha. Here's the thought. Yeah.
It's just often catch and release.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at least you get caught, and you get your little inspiration, and then you're tossed back into the pond. But so, which is this idea that somehow that there is a energy working through our inner lives, which is encouraging, which pulls us up when we're feeling down, or when our perspective is low, or our vibe is down, or we can't really see, we're not really seeing the opportunities or the blessings or the grace or the grace and blessings of our lives, that we get kind of caught up in, oh, my plans aren't working, blah, everything's bad, blah, you know. But there's always this here is this influence of a higher intelligence kind of raising one's perspective,
right,
to kind of get out of that denser waters into the rarefied, more lighter
Right.
environment.
Yeah. Well, it's also on the Pillar of Mercy. Like it comes down from the Pillar of Mercy down to Yesod there, angles off and down into Yesod from Netzach, which is the bottom sphere on the Pillar of Mercy. And so that influence, that's like Chokmah is also inspiration and, you know, that sort of ethereal kind of stuff. That's that divine inspiration reaching down the pillar to Netzach and then down to Yesod, I think. And of course, then, yeah. Because the path runs between Yesod and Netzach. Netzach is like victory.
Yes.
And
Venus and victory.
Venus. And Venus is the star, is the morning star. And the evening star, which is also Lucifer, but we won't get into that. But that's that tree of good and evil thing is, you know, you're given a choice and it's what you want to do with it. And then Yesod I always see as sort of that eternal sea, you know, it's called the foundation, but it's also, I always envision it as this sea of consciousness. So that's where it runs.
The astral level, yeah.
Yeah, on the astral level, that sea of consciousness that you dip into for inspiration. And then hopefully you'll travel the path and come out victorious on the other end, right?
That sounds good. I like that.
Yeah. So, and that's what the pots, the woman or the figure that's pouring the pots. One is, in Wang's book says one is Binah and one is Chokmah. And Binah is the logical, the learned divinity. And Chokmah is the inspiration. So she is pouring them both to mix.
The inspiration and the data. Of course, and then in Crowley's card, he just has, there's silver and gold.
Yes.
And so, of course, which seems to represent silver is the moon color and gold's the sun.
Yes.
So, or sort of the masculine and feminine energies. And then in the RWS, she's pouring water onto water and one urn onto land, and this has always been kind of but she's looking at the water. So I mean, there's so many, you can really go, I don't know, I sort of backtrack on that now because it's like kind of digging into these details that I think kind of can really get us to miss the point. So she's focusing on emotion, but the realities of life are handling themselves. I think the important thing here is that it's about meditation. And
yes.
Case says this bit here that I really like. Meditation is really a function of the ego, which raises the consciousness level. The powers of the automatic consciousness of Yesod raises to the consciousness level of Yesod. However much it may seem to us at first that meditation is a personal activity, we may really succeed in meditation. We are meditated. The idea that the higher self brings the personality into meditation. The fishhook is partially the search of the personality consciousness for reality in the context of meditation, but it is also the angling of the higher self to pull the personality up from its depths of self-enclosure through meditation, which is kind of an interesting idea. If you meditated a lot, and kind of go, oh, there's the suggestion that it's not me meditating, it's my higher self meditating with me.
Yeah. And it's not really, it's not always a practice of going within, but also of coming out, of bringing things up,
Bringing
not just
things-
going in,
Bring things up and out, perhaps.
up and out. Yeah.
Especially when dealing with Yesod, which
Mhm.
is kind of the gateway to the Akashic records, the astral plane, where every thought and action kind of still floats around, the realm of thought forms. You know, the Yesod is seen as what modern psychology probably calls the your own subconscious, your personal subconscious. So it's in Yesod where everything is, all the memories that you blocked out are hidden, are there. They're like, everybody's got a closet or a Pandora's box of sorts in, which is another, we don't have that card handy, but it's really pretty and interesting, is the Mythic Tarot, which is based on Greek mythology, uses Pandora opening the box for the star card.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Which is just what I'm kind of talking about here, is that in Yesod, that is like Pandora's box is in Yesod. Kind of when you often, it's very kind of trendy these days to talk about shadow work, which I guess is just another word for like kind of some basic psychological work. But if you can't afford a psychologist to get you through these old stuff, you just call it shadow work, and you're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
However, that all those ideas, the imaginings, the shoulda, coulda, woulda's, all the regrets, all the what ifs are all stored in Yesod, and part of this whole growth, learning the tree, the practice of pathworking, is about kind of getting through that stuff and opening up those closets, opening up Pandora's box, kind of revealing what was hidden. Kind of, it's all about acceptance and love, and kind of moving forward. Kind of that you can't dodge what's in Yesod.
Right.
You can't say, well, I don't need that, or I'm just gonna not think about that, or I'm gonna cut. You know, first there has, yes, maybe we can at some point drop various regrets or disappointments or sadnesses or difficulties we've had in our lives. That yes, we're going to get beyond that. Yes, you can drop that, but you're not going to drop it without it. But first it has to be acknowledged. Yes, that's the good word, acknowledged. And then hypothetically accepted and moved
that's
beyond.
That's a good word too. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting
beyond.
that this card with all of these deep meanings comes either directly before or directly after, depending on which way you're going on the tree of the tower. Yeah, which is...
I've seen it come up a lot, of course, in readings as a tarot reader, and sometimes it's sort of baffling, but I've really come to a perspective on it that it can come up for people that are. I remember one particular instance where I had a fellow come for a reading, and it's like his second reading, his first reading. Like the months before, he had come with his wife or something, and I saw him again without his wife, and he said, well, we just got divorced, and he's got a couple kids, and his wife just sort of split, and blah blah blah, and now they're working out sharing custody or what have you, but not at first, it was just him. And the star card came up, and so for really it's not necessarily, but when it comes up in readings, it can have to do with difficult situations. But the star card really means poise for me. It means like
meditate on the situation.
Meditation, poise. There's a flow of emotion, but it's sort of under control. It's not blocking. It's not stopping. It's not anger. It's not projecting. It's a handling of difficult feelings. It can be a kind of an appropriate handling of difficult feelings.
It also looks like two, not opposing, but two separate, two separate issues. I was trying to think of a different word, that are being poured out and blended, and it's sort of a balanced approach to whatever the situation is what the card looks to me, the actions of the.
And in that context, because it works both ways, all the paths work both ways. So yes, it can be that there's opposing kind of perspectives, whether that's without or even within one person. I mean, sometimes I have, you have an idea, conflicting emotions, and it's about a blending and a release and a blending.
Right, and
finding a poise, a way to kind of still look up, to still be hopeful, just to move beyond the conflicts.
Show those cards.
So yeah, move beyond the conflicts like that.
So just
if I can get up again. That's always the challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, get back up again.
Okay. So here we have a classic star card. It's often a nubile female figure, and but here in the please.
The initiatory.
I can never remember that.
The initiatory tarot deck of the Golden Dawn.
Okay. Well, I'm sure the ones the Golden Dawn had weren't quite like this, but at least not in the turn of the previous century. But then again, okay, here we have our two urns, one's silver, one's gold. Here we have the famous Thoth deck, or the Star Crowley's deck. And we see that he's got hay there because Crowley says he had a channeling that the star is, Zadai is not the star. But maybe it isn't for him. That's fine, but it is for me. But of course, here we have the star way up, kind of the star in the sky. There's also been, I've certainly read about this as being, and again, he's supposed to have a gold and a silver chalices.
Chalices.
Yeah, it doesn't,
the spheres.
that doesn't look like that.
Well, that's what
Somebody
just
used, yeah, well, Wang's repressed or something. I don't know. It looks like a cup. Doesn't look like a boob at all. Anyway, this odd one, this Handel one, certainly it shows Aquarius, and it shows Zadai. There's the Zadai symbol, but it's backwards here. The little tail should be pointing to the left. Anyway, there it is. And it's kind of hard to discern here, but it certainly shows waterfalls and the female figure. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's like she's a giant washing her hair in the waterfall.
Interesting.
I brought out this one deck that's the Good Tarot, and it's basically just a female figure with the star behind her, although it does look more like a solar disk, doesn't it? And one urn with a star on the urn. So she's got sort of a star on her armband, something. I'm not sure what's going on there. This is a more important one, full of different symbolism. The Wang's Golden Dawn deck, the red and the blue, two urns that were said to represent the masculine and feminine at the top of the pillars. We have the major star in the middle and 7 stars around, and then there's the star above her head. It said that this is the tree of life with the 10 light spheres on it, this tree of life, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's the idea.
Yeah, the one that looks like a palm tree is the one of knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah.
Does that have the bird in it?
Yeah, you know, but it's a dove here. It's not an ibis at all. Okay. The ibis is in the Rider-Waite, and it's on the one tree there. Again, here in the more common RWS deck, we have the female figure pouring water, one urn onto the land and one onto the water. Somehow she seems to be standing on the water as well. There's significance in that. But she's focused more on that water than the land, and it's kind of letting things take care of themselves. There's a unity between them, as you can see the stream going into that pond. Our star card from the Illuminati, is it? Whatever it's called. Hermetic Tarot, that's it. Hermetic Tarot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, I'm just counting that because I've certainly, and again, here we have the more represented the tree of life and tree of knowledge of good and evil. A bird, the birds, the female figure in the center. Aquarius, waves of Aquarius on top. All the planets represented here. But I think what's important there is, I've read in different places that the star is the star Sirius, the very important in Egyptian mythologies, the star Sirius. There was but also that the 7 stars around are representative of the Pleiades.
7 sisters.
7 sisters. So either way it works. The star is the stars, and it's not just Sirius, and it's not just the Pleiades, but it has those connections.
I'm just curious about that. You mentioned the Egyptian one, so I just wanted to look at that. Let's see what the star card looks like here.
Okay. So
this is just all.
That's about all I got.
Oh, well.
So we'll do our middle pillar as per usual.
They put the stars.
And we'll do set up our temple, do middle pillar. So what do we got here? We got the big star. Got a symbol for Mercury, that's emphasized. The scale is emphasized.
We call it hope.
Hope.
It springs from nothing to illuminate the way and uplift our gaze. Faith, hope, grace, beauty, propitious sign, indication, ambition. Interesting.
So I'll start and we'll set up the temple. And I'll give you a couple of these.
Sure. I'm in control, am I?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Look out. Look out, world.
How did I totally lose it all? I lost it all. Just a moment. I'll find it momentarily.
David's lost it.
Again.
Don't be concerned.
This happens not infrequently.
It's all okay.
Stop.
It's all okay.
Okay, also I'm having an allergitis issue today. So pardon me.
So I'm doing south and north again.
How's that sound?
That sounds great.
Getting down pat.
Sure.
All right.
Oh, can I have a break for a moment
Yes.
before we start? Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen.
Also, to do my song and dance. Ya-da-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da-da. Let's get this aimed towards the temple. Yeah, type in. Yeah, type in. Let's chat. Yeah. Okay. The star card. Whoa. Yeah, we're all. It's the matrix. We're all just being meditated in the imagination of either beings. That's it. That's and they seem to like drama. So, I have some other decks, and although by the time I find something, Dallas will be back. So, let's start. I'm going to start to relax. I'm going to try to breathe with my allergies going on, and you know, I've been reading some discussion by breath people, and of course in Eastern Hindi meditations, and I think in some of the more, they're less common, but like Taoist meditation, they seem to be kind of discerning, or it has some significance, whether what nostril you're using, that you're breathing in your nose, out your mouth, and all this stuff. So, however, with the meditation I'm teaching here and showing you that none of that matters. It's, you know, we live in the age of allergies, and I'm involved in that discussion. So I don't think you know, you can meditate. If you're not meditating because you're stuffed out, don't worry about it. Just kind of carry on.
Okay.
It's more important to be relaxed and have a full and even breath than worry about whether it's through this nostril, that nostril, mouth or nose, or in or out. Just those things really aren't that important. Especially if, according to the star card, we're meditating on a cue from our higher self that's saying time to connect.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Dedicate this temple to the goddess and the god. So like the black and white candle. This evening we are traversing the 17th key, 28th path, the star Zadai, Hebrew letter Zadai. Our scent, which we're not using, is galbanum, and we'll begin. Ate Malkuth, Vegabora, Vegadula, Leolam. Hekis, Hekis, Estebebeloi. Those are look. Okay, let's. So first, we're going to create and draw with our imaginations a 3 circles around the room, and that is our circle, a rosy cross circle. Yeheshua. 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 Yeshua, Yeshua. This way now. There we go. Yeshua. Yeshua. Yeshua, Yehovah Shah, Yod, He, Shin, Vav, He. I-N-R-I, sign of Osiris slain. El, the sign of the morning of Isis. V, the sign of Typhoon Apophis. X, the sign of Osiris risen. L, V, X, Lux, light, light of the cross. Virgo, Isis, mighty mother. Scorpio, Apophis, destroyer. Soul, Osiris, slain yet risen. Isis, Apophis, Osiris. Eo. Exape, Hokoema, Nanta, Biteoem. May the divine light descend. Eheye, Yodivah Elohim, Yodivah Elovadat, Shaddai Chayed That's the divine light descend. Ate, Malkuth, Gabora, Gadula, Amen. So, we do, what are we doing here? Next, starting in the east, are the four quarters with the supreme invocation of the Pentagram ritual. Okay. In the east. Iexarpeye Dwayepte. Oh, God, it's embarrassed now.
Oh, it's the medication.
Oro iba eozot bi Jehovah. Hail Raphael, Archangel of the East Air.
I think it's your anti-allergy.
I think it is.
In your brain. Viteum. Oeptia pedoche Elohim. Hail Michael, Archangel of the South and Fire.
Heko emma agla. Empe arselgayo. Hail Gabriel, Archangel of the West and Water.
Nanta Agala. Imordial Hectega. Adonai. Hail Uriel, Archangel of the North and Earth.
Before me, Raphael. Behind me, Gabriel. To the right hand, Michael. And to the left hand, Uriel. About us flames the pentagram, and in the column shines the six-rayed star. Ate, Malkuth, Vegabora, Vegadula, Leolam, Amen. As above, so below. And this evening, we are connecting to the path of Zadai, the 28th path, the star, the 17th tarot key. Its color is violet. Sound a sharp. Astrological attribution, the sign of Aquarius, which is fixed air. The meaning, fish hook. A simple letter for imagination. Titles, the daughter of the firmament, the dweller between the waters. The 28th path is called the natural intelligence, and is so called because through it is consummated and perfected the nature of every existing thing beneath the sun, which is our star. Of course, we know now. The sun is our star.
Ooh,
Little atmosphere.
lovely.
Okay, so as I was saying, it's important to try to relax the body. You know, there's all kinds of ways of doing that specifically, but I'm not going to talk us through noticing every little muscle and tensing and relaxing it. Leave that to you. Find those spots that need a little relaxing. I like to suggest to people to relax their jaw. It can really help the whole body relax. Kind of straighten the spine, sit up straight, so that your head can comfortably rest on your spine. You're not, don't have to engage a bunch of core and neck muscles. Try to stay relaxed. Sit without crossing your arms or legs, sitting up straight. Establish the 4 square breath, which is breathing in to your own personal count of 4, pausing for the same count of 4, breathing out in a relaxed fashion for the same count of 4, pausing for the same count of 4. So get that going, 4 square breath, and maintaining a relaxed body. While we're doing that, dabber handy, in case I get a runny nose. But don't mind me, I'll just talk us through this. You stay relaxed, breathing deep, relaxed fashion, 4 square breath. Imagination is key here, as it is in life. So imagine the orb of light atop the head. It's a source light, pre-polarity light, just pure white light in action atop the head. Its God name is Aheye. Aheye. Bring the light energy down into the body through the top of the head down to form a lavender orb of light in the throat area. This is the light in extension to us. This is where we can begin to reach up towards as far as we can go for higher awareness. The mystery sphere, Sephiroth of Death. Its God name is Yehovah Elohim.
Yehovah Elohim.
Lavender orb of light in the throat. Yehovah Elohim.
Yehovah Elohim. Yehovah Elohim.
Yehovah Elohim. Imagine the energy moving down into the body to form a bright golden yellow orb of light behind the solar plexus. This is our Kabbalistic heart chakra, a place of unconditional love, individual Christ consciousness. The heart. Yehovah Elovadah.
Yehovah Elovadah.
Yehovah Elovadah.
Yehovah Elovadah.
Yehovah Elovadah. Bring the light energy down to form a purple orb of light. This is the sacral chakra in the groin area. Purple orb of light. Its God name is Shaddai El Chai. Shaddai El Chai.
Shaddai al-Chai.
Imagine the light energy descending along the legs to the feet, where it forms a russet orb of light. It's the light of form. Its God name is Adonai Haaretz. Adonai Haaretz. Adonai Haaretz. Adonai Haaretz. Bring the attention to this white light atop the head. On the exhale, imagine light energy coming down through the left side of your body to your feet. Pause. Then on the inhale, imagine light energy coming up along the right side of the body to the top of the head. Exhale light energy down the left. Inhale light energy up the right. And on the exhale, imagine light energy coming down over the face, down over the front and through the front of the body to the feet. And on the inhale, imagine the light energy coming up from the feet, along the back of the legs, along the back of the body to the top of the head. Exhale over the front, inhale energy up along the back. Then on an inhale, collect light energy in the light sphere at the feet. On the exhale, release the light energy up through the body, through the top of the head, that it may fountain down around again and be collected on the next inhale at the feet. Exhale and release the light energy up through the body, through the top of the head. So try to enter into the star. Know that it is a place of imagination. Imagination in alignment with the muse, with the stars, with inspiration from above, from the stars. Imagine you as your connection to the stars. Okay, sorry if that was a little short. It was a little short to me. But I have a little sneezy fit, so get back. Probably disturbed others. Did I disturb you? Did when I rang the bell, I guess. So I'll do a quick close.
Okay.
The guardians of the quarters and intelligences called and drawn to this ceremony. Go if you must, stay if you will. Temple is closed. Start here. Thus banishing. Earth, Uriel, water, Gabriel, fire, Michael, air, Raphael. May this temple be closed. And we will come on back for our chat about what we experienced. And you guys could also come for that.